Haven't done one of these in a little bit, so I figured I would go ahead. What my question for a lot of people, I have a number of questions for anybody that's still supporting Trump, but really supporting anybody in the system. But one I would like to lead with, because it's kind of relevant to my channel. You know, I've got 5 channels now. And the first one, the other ones are more specialized, and this one here is more of kind of anything goes. But there is a common theme. And some of it is sort of restoring America. Really restoring the good things from years ago. It's kind of like the cars that I like, the vehicles that I like. I like to get the ones from years ago that were good, but could have been better. And I like to modify them without turning them into something completely different. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do with everything. Same thing goes for the musical instruments, houses, just people's way of life. You know, some good things have happened, some bad things have happened. Let's bring the good things from years ago back and keep some of the good things. So when you think about that, you think about sort of that little saying they keep wanting to say, make America great again, keep America great and all that. What is he doing to restore America? Seriously. Because it's like when I had to have that rant about mechanics. You got some of these mechanics that'll say, I'm sure they're Trump supporters, say make America great again. But they won't work on a vehicle from whence it was great. So explain that to me. Why are they buying a brand new vehicle? Why are they riding around brand new vehicles? Why is everything they got new? They say make America great again like it was great years ago and it's not good now, it's terrible. And then they hop in their little rolling computer couch and toast their buns on their heated seats and their heated steering wheel. It's infuriating. What has Trump done? Or anybody really, but we're focusing on Trump right now because he's the one that's relevant. What has he done to restore the good things of this country or this planet? Take all the time you need. Because think about the things that we used to have in this country. Schooling and medical treatment used to be way more affordable. Housing used to be way more affordable. Everything used to be way more affordable. I mean, we're trashing these vehicles. You think at the very least, since he pretends to be at such odds with Obama, he'd bring up that cash for clunkers fraud. He's not talking about that. You know, if you look close enough, you'll see the dead giveaway that these people are in cahoots with each other. Kamala Harris stood right next to him, right in front of him, and could look right at that ear and see that there's no injury on it. I mean, she's an attorney general in California. I'm sure she's seen some bullet wounds, and that wasn't one of them, whichever one it was. So, you need to ask yourself that. Even if you shrug off everything else, everything he's been accused of, everything else, what is he doing to make America what it should be? Because I caught sort of the tail end of it. You know, I just turned 43. I got to see and kind of lived a little old-fashioned anyway. I probably had more of the things I could talk about that the Gen X, probably even the older Gen X talk about. The simplicity of vehicles. The elbow room to sort of live your life. And you don't have that anymore. And he's not doing anything to improve that. Not anything. He's making it worse. There should be, if he was going to do that, if you're going to restore America, I got you a few plans. I got a few ideas right here. First of all, if you look at what they're doing with these new vehicles and these shutdown things, this more and more computerized control, and this would help environmentally too, I'd basically kill the automotive companies. That's what I would do. They'd be done for. I would assist people instead of the corporations, help them build up these vehicles that are all sitting in weeds and this and that, Uh, and I'm sure there'd be some people, that lean a little too liberal to be belly aching because they don't get the mileage, and allegedly anyway, with the mileage, allegedly polluting a little bit more and this and that, and they're not electric, even though you can make your own electric vehicle, by the way. A lot easier to do it with an older one than it is with a newer one. And you got a fool of people like Musk. So it's a no-lose situation, unless you really want to nitpick, and even then you're grasping at straws, you're jumping at shadows. So anybody that's not talking about that, everybody can have a vehicle. I would get rid of these phony vehicle safety inspections, or at least redo them. That's one way I would step on states' rights, because they're wrong in doing that. Now, you could take that and make it something good. You could, a vehicle safety inspection system in any state could actually benefit the people. But what they end up doing is they end up banning drivable vehicles from the road. That's why you can watch, it's one channel called Hoods and Hollers. Shows a lot of West Virginia and places like that. You'll see these just dead areas, rotting down houses, just people just destitute, brand new cars sitting out in front of them. Why? Oh, it must be their priorities, huh? No, they're not allowed to drive the other ones. And by the way, West Virginia, I'll say it here and now, and anybody wants to hear it, I will fight you on this. West Virginia has got the absolute worst state government and police force in this country. They are scum. Absolute scum. You need to watch enough videos on that. And what they do to these poor people up there who can barely live. I mean, they're almost like Neanderthals the way they're having to live, some of them. And they're still on their backs. And you see these areas nobody drives through, these old houses. I guarantee you, if the police heard that somebody was living in one of them old buildings, they'd show up then. Can't have that. Can't have no easy way to go. Let it rot down with nobody in it. And you can bet some place that's so oppressive with vehicle safety inspections, they're going to do that with houses also. They're going to nitpick that. And that's kind of what they want for the whole country, honestly. And they just now elected a governor from New York. I'm sure he'll fix everything. If he came from New York to work in West Virginia, there's a reason why he did that. There's a big income gap right there. Why did he do that? I'd trust an animal with rabies more than I would trust that situation. But back to the main point, what is being done to restore America? Because that's what I'm trying to do. That's the common theme of all this. That's the common theme for all this. If you'll notice, there is a theme. They are related. It's about getting these old, cheap guitars and making them, even if they are imported, they're already here. They've been here for decades. You're buying them from an individual. If, whenever possible, you're getting the upgraded parts from American people, from American factories and stuff like that, American made. You can more easily afford that anyway than you would be if you tried to buy one brand new. You're not benefiting America by buying a brand new Gibson or a brand new Fender or this or that. You'd actually be more beneficial to your country by buying a used imported guitar and then getting American parts. Or even if you don't, if you're buying them secondhand. eBay is a good thing for that. Buy from your neighbors. There's a lot of those around. And it saves you more money that you can do other things with. Same thing with vehicles. Get the old ones. Whenever possible, get American-made parts. Whenever possible, get second-hand parts. And, and even these old movies, Stay away from the new crap. There's lots more to enjoy. A lot more. And, my traveling channel. Get out and drive around, meet people. See nature. See the real America. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to restore it. People like Trump are not helping. Everybody likes to harp on the liberals and this and that. I would go so far as to say, in this area, sort of Appalachian area, the people leaning left or leaning liberal are better at, they're more driven to restore America and keep old traditions and things like that, kind of a hippie sort of thing, than the right-wingers. That's been sort of a surprise for me, even going over into Middle Tennessee. I step out in the parking lot, and there's my old rickety vehicles. And I'm looking around, and look all these shiny, goofy, toy-looking vehicles that these people, country boys, are riding around in. It's like, this is a joke. This is an absolute joke. And they fall apart, too. I watched one dumb kid in Jamestown crash in a Walmart and rip the front wheel off of one of his stupid little Chevy diesel trucks. It just came apart. It was like a stop sign he hit. Pasted it back together, though, I guess, with bubble gum and twist ties or whatever they put them together with these days. So what I'm challenging you to do is to only support people that are going to restore this country. And when those things get restored, people's individuality gets restored, their liberty and their freedom and their time. You know, when you get rid of debts as much as possible. Good example, and I don't know how it's going in other areas, but I can tell you in my area, within easy driving distance, you don't need to buy eggs from a store. It's insane. They're practically giving them away. And I can tell you from what I've done, just myself, in the past 10, 15 years off and on. Tomatoes, you can grow them like this. And they're very enthusiastic about tomatoes in this area anyway. So if you're not growing them, you can get them. We can do this. We can put the power back in the hands of people. We really can. And it's not just tomatoes and eggs and stuff like that. We can really do this. Find somebody, you need quilts and blankets, there's people that make those. I mean, we're so close to being able to restore power to the people, to our neighbors, local businesses. And people like Trump are not helping that. They're not. They're making it worse. And that needs to be understood. It's one thing about the people you can see. You got to worry about the people you're not seeing. And don't let the people in Washington fool you, or even the people in Nashville or wherever else. They're talking a bunch of nonsense. They don't speak for real people. Because I've spoken to a lot of people wearing all sorts of hats. And believe it or not, I had a lot more positive experiences than negative. We've got to get together. We've got to have a conversation. We've got to build each other up. We can do this. We really do. We really do have this opportunity. And they're actually trying to take it away. I mean, that's what these increase in prices and things like that are. Sending these ICE agents all around, people like that. Over-policing. Making people paranoid about this or that. They want you to hate your neighbor. See, give you a good example, and I don't want to get too off track because I already make these videos longer than I mean to. I can remember a workplace. Let's just say they made boxes. They made big metal boxes. Place I worked. Without being any more specific than that. There was somebody there, a woman who I thought was a great friend of mine. Thought she was a great person. She was convincing. Unfortunately, she's got some kind of issue, near as I can tell. And she's one of these type of people, and this isn't completely uncommon. She needs to be everyone's favorite. She needs to be everyone's best friend. And it's not that she is extroverted or flamboyant or nothing like that. She's relatively quiet, in a way. But what she would do is she'd buddy up to you, and you'd swear, she's like my sister. It's like my great friend. She'd run around somewhere else and tell stuff about you. And then she'd come back and tell you stuff about that person she was just talking to. And everybody would hate each other. And all these fights would be going. Meanwhile, she's engineered all of them. Because if you notice the common theme, the common theme in that is she's everybody's friend. She comes up and talks to him and tells them all this stuff. There's nothing bad about her, but there's something bad about everybody else. And everybody's hating each other. There are little pockets of rage, turning against each other because of what she was doing. So who out of that would be the most trusted person for all these people who hate each other? I think that's crystal clear, isn't it? But anyway, that's sort of what's happening. It's divide and conquer. And that's a true way of conquering, is to divide people. And you'll notice, I mean, surely you know in your own life, it's not like that. It's not that bad. It can be. It is in certain areas. But generally speaking, you know, there's a lot of, for instance, there's a lot of racism in the state. And they did this redistricting thing, which I guess I need to kind of casually mention that. It's kind of a double blind as what they're doing here. On one hand, you know, people are accusing them of taking the rights away from black people, and they are. Away from the power, away from black voters. They are. But it's not exactly cut and dry as you think. And they're pointing this out. They're pointing out, well, look, they keep voting for this white guy in Memphis as opposed to this black woman. The black woman was a Republican, and the white guy was a Democrat. Yeah. But the white guy, probably the black Republican too, they're both Zionist. You know, Cohen, knee deep with Israel. Knee deep. As a matter of fact, he has me currently blocked. But what it is they're afraid of losing him. They're not trying to get rid of him and his power. They're afraid they're going to lose him to somebody who isn't owned like he is. That's what's happening. And they're seeing that they're losing ground. They've been steadily losing ground for years. And they're going to lose some more ground. So you notice they didn't just change Memphis. They changed the whole state up. Because it's looking bad for them. And I'm not saying it's going to be a great thing to have Democrats in charge. I don't trust them. But what they're afraid of is not about losing to Democrats. It's about losing to people who aren't owned by AIPAC. And aren't part of the agenda. That's what they're afraid of. Because I don't trust Pearson either. Pearson and Jones and Memphis. I don't trust them either. But so far they don't appear to be owned. And that's what we got to worry about. We got to get the American agenda back. And by the way, when I say America, I'm talking about North America. I'm not talking about, you could even say all of America, North and South. Because I'm not anti-immigrant. It's never been a problem. That's another thing. They're lying to you on that. The only reason you think there's such a horrible problem is because they're telling you that and you're believing them. Check for yourself. Don't let them feed you stupid numbers. Either side. Don't let them feed you these numbers and be like, oh, well, that must be fact. They lie. I don't know how to get it through to your head. They lie. Both of these lie to you. Can't you figure that out? Why are you thinking that one is just telling you the honest to God's truth and the other one is just complete lies? That's some spy versus spy crap. That's not real. Step outside. They say touch grass. Everybody's got these little buzz sayings they got to say these days. So somebody said touch grass, and now everybody like a chain bark around the neighborhood saying touch grass, touch grass. Okay, well, go outside and touch grass. Go talk to your neighbors. Go out in town. Is it like that? Is there roving bands of Mexican banditos running the streets and firing off guns and everything like a Good, the Bad, and the Ugly or something like that? What's going on out there? It's not happening. So use your own experience. I mean, the way they are with weather these days, they should teach you something, you know. How reliable are the weather apps and the weather stations? I remember them being a lot more accurate years ago, I thought. And the technology is supposed to be better now, but you can't trust it, can you? So why are you trusting everything else? Sometimes it's better to go outside and be like, yeah, I think it's going to rain. Despite what they say. I've had an Android in one hand and an iPhone in the other hand with the weather app open showing sunny skies. And while it was happening, I was standing outside and rain was dripping on both of them. This should tell you something. We have got to unite in this country. We got to stop being racist. We got to stop being sexist and homophobic and transphobic and everything else, worrying about what somebody's doing with their own body with consenting adults, and worry about how we're treating each other and how we can make this country better. We can do this. You're focusing on, I can't believe we let these people twist us and turn us into this. I cannot believe this. And there's even people being pro-war now. My God, the president just said something about going to wipe out an entire civilization, and people didn't blink. Some did. Because the liberals, their job is to get their hair on fire every time he farts, which is a lot. That's not helpful either. They're focusing on nonsense and stuff. I've seen so much AI stuff about Trump making him look bad. You don't need AI. It discredits the real stuff. That's the problem. We got to focus on what's real. We got to focus on each other. We got to focus on this country. We got to get out of this weird curse that we've got going here. We've just been manipulated. It's like we've had our minds just fogged. It's like something out of fiction, out of a horror movie or fantasy or something like that. Think for yourself. If you're completely on board with things Trump is saying, or you're completely on board with what the Democrats are saying, you are lost. You are lost. So again, this is about building up your communities. And that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm trying to get more people involved in this. I'm sure there's plenty of people in a lot of these things that I'm involved in that might not agree with me 100% politically. But maybe they should. My way is not an offensive way, because I'm about bettering your life. I'm not about controlling you. I'm about you having freedom and liberty and being able to enjoy your life. You want to go sit out on the porch? You want to go hang out with your relatives all day, just enjoy your life? That's what I am building towards. I want you to have your life. And these people up here in Washington, these capitals, do not want you to have your life at all. At all. If you're not some sort of a tool for them, or making them money, or just being some sort of a resource or utility or commodity for them, they want you dead. It's about what use you are for them, and that's it, and nothing else. Your neighbor isn't like that, generally speaking. So I'm begging you people to build each other up. Stop buying new vehicles. Stop buying anything new if you can help it. Buy local foods. Buy local goods. Build up your community. If you see a GoFundMe, a charity, or something like that, dig into it, help those people out. Build up your community. Build up each other. And don't give a dime to these big corporations. Don't give a dime to these big super PAC funded politicians. If you're somebody local, it's grassroots, maybe give a little bit to them just because you have to. Because they can't make it without any money. It's too expensive. The system is made that way. But beyond that, build up your communities. Stop fighting people in your communities. That's probably long enough for now. Way longer than I meant for it to be. But again, build and restore America. Bring back the good that used to be. Highlight the good that used to be. Augment the good that used to be. While maintain the good things. The more acceptance. Some bits of technology are good. I mean, we've got a cell phone right here. But it's kind of gone too far. So that's what we need to do. We need to build up this country. We need to free ourselves from debt. Strangle these corporations. Because I guarantee you, up and down these strips here, there's lots of great local restaurants here in this area. Lots of great small businesses, and there's a lot of big businesses that need to collapse. They do. And people worry about, finding jobs and this and that. That's part of the reason people are poor. They got it backward. I know initially it would be bad for the workers if a bunch of these big corporations collapse. Where they're going to work? But the reason why there's so much poverty is because they have to create poverty to create workers. Now, I'm not saying they would do the right thing by the former workers if they no longer have a place to work, but that exposes something else about our system. But bear in mind, these jobs, when they start talking about job creation and this and that, they have to create poverty, or you're not going to work there. If you don't need $20 an hour, you're not going to go to work for $20 an hour or less. And that'd be a high number for me, by the way. But that's what it is. They're bringing in new jobs. Well, they found some poverty. That's what that's all about. They're not building up these big corporations, these big factories, and all these jobs and things like that don't pay all that well in rich areas. Why would they? Nobody's going to work there. So they're taking advantage of your suffering. So what we got to do is we got to take that power away from them. We got to fund and sponsor and subscribe to each other. We have to invest in each other. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do with this. I haven't even really made it to that point yet. But what I would want to do is for every bit of money I can free up that I didn't desperately need back, I would like to go around and start funding these other small YouTube channels and things like that. Get a subscription thing going. You can do that. I mean, you got bills every month anyway. Let's say you free up one. Let's say you had a $500 bill that you paid off. Well, the $500 was strangling you, so you don't need to just turn around immediately and dump the $500. What if you take 100 of that? You take 100 and invest that back into other YouTube channels, some local. You could just do it. It ain't even got to be a subscription. You got $100 a month. You need to give it away to some people who needs it. Some people who need it. It could be all in one shot. It could be a little bit here, a little bit there. We can invest in each other. We can make you got all this technology. You still got paper and pens. Make catalogs of local goods that you can get where you don't have to go to Walmart or someplace like that and buy those goods. You can get eggs down here. You can get tomatoes over there. Need some new blankets or some curtains or something like that. Go down here to this person. Stop buying from this, stuff that's taking from America and not giving anything back. So that's the idea now, and I'm sure people have already used the phrase, so I probably can't use it. But I'm for restoring America, and that's what this channel is.